is it that non-denominational Mr. Winter is on his way to the student lounge?
Baby Jesus, Brian Johnson, and Bloody Jaws Comparative Religion is, quite frankly, a delightful episode of Community.
Merry Happy!
Holiday episode where they somehow manage to roast political correctness, honor human differences, and stage a knockdown drag-out brawl in an outdoor set that I don't think they've decided is in Colorado just yet. Merry Christmas to everybody. I'm Chris, and this is the Community Study Guide, and today we are looking at comparative religion. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Sup? 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 No. Okay, it's a question. Sup?
The story begins with our study group preparing for finals, but Shirley hijacks the week by inviting everybody to her Christmas party. The only problem is, her version of Christmas is aggressively religious.
The Lord, the Lord, the Lord.
Complete with matching What Would Baby Jesus Do bracelets. I love Yvette's singing voice, by the way. I wish we got more of it outside of Christmas episodes.
Function with relative ease.
Yeah!
What would baby Jesus do? By the way, canonically speaking, didn't do much.
He was a man. He had a beard.
A certain little birthday boy. Real men turn the other cheek.
But all of this sets up the clash for comparative religion. The study group is made up of wildly different belief systems. Annie's Jewish, Abed's Muslim, Troy's Jehovah's Witness, Britta's an atheist, Jeff is agnostic, and Pierce is like a Buddhist cult member?
That does not sound like Buddhism. Are you sure you're not in a cult?
I think we learn more about that later. Shirley's expectation that they would all conform to her Christmas vision quickly alienates the group. Meanwhile, and to set up how the writers wanted to explore this tension, and literally for no other reasons it would seem, a bully played by Anthony Michael Hall of Breakfast Club fame, which I think is a callback to episode 1.
That actually was from The Breakfast Club.
Anyway, Anthony Michael Hall's character starts picking on Abed, quite frankly for legitimate reasons. Like, I wouldn't go fighting somebody for cookies, but, you know, like, it takes a lot of cookies there. I'm just saying. But Jeff stands up for Abed, and Mike the bully squares up until politically correct Santa strolls in to spread holiday happiness.
I'm so sick of the dean jamming his PC-ness down my throat.
Shirley, of course, doesn't approve of the violence because, you know, who's ever heard of a violent Christian before? So instead, she starts mother-henning the group, tightening her grip on how this Christmas party is supposed to go.
I brought my star of Bethlehem, which led the wise men to the savior of all mankind, and you guys can bring a little trinket or doodad from your philosophies.
With Jeff standing off to the side as an outlier, she starts to double down on everybody else. It's obvious she's wrestling with her own baggage, and the control that she's trying to exert isn't really about the party itself. It's less about making sure everybody else is having a good time celebrating Christmas, and more about filling this deep need that she has to celebrate in her way with her people.
Due to my divorce and my relatives picking sides, this will be the only Christmas party I throw this year. Will you be there, or will I have another family letting me down?
It's kind of sweet in theory, but in practice it is overreaching, forcing her identity onto everybody else in the room. We'll get into that in a deeper meaning. All of this is happening while the group is supposed to be focused on their Spanish finals. And right on cue, after the bully corners Jeff at his desk, we get yet another classic moment that instantly became a meme.
Senior Chang, can you do something about this?
I'll allow it.
But Jeff loses it, and he challenges Mike to a fight, even though Jeff has never been in a fight before.
You've never been in a fight?
Technically, no. I guess I'm too charming and likable. Call me a name.
I can't.
And so before the big fight and the big party, Jeff gets coached by Pierce and Troy in the music room, and it goes about as useful as you would expect.
Then you look straight through his eyes and deep into his soul.
And then you moved to Vermont.
I am sick and tired of you saying that fighting is gay.
And Shirley finds out what's going on, and she moves to confront Jeff.
What is going on?
We're trying to get Jeff ready for the fight.
At first, she tries a gentle approach,
So, why do you hate me and Jesus?
but it doesn't take long before she starts saying the quiet parts of control out loud.
I forbid you from fighting.
Jeff, though raging agnostic he isn't going to be controlled or allow Shirley to dominate him. While Jeff goes off to face the music, the rest of the group gathers at Shirley's Christmas party, but the second they find out that Jeff's been made excommunicado, they stage an exodus of their own. At the fight, Jeff initially starts taking Troy's advice, but then decides to make a grand speech about friendship and respect, because he sees the What Would Baby Jesus bracelet. And Baby Jesus probably wouldn't fight Anthony Michael Hall.
I know guys like this, Mike. Used to be a nerd, now he's a meathead.
So he is right about that. Shirley arrives just in time to hear the beginnings of his speech, but when the bully bullies, Shirley grants Jeff the permission to
Kick his ass.
And then the episode climaxes in this brawl outside the cafeteria with Jeff, backed by the entire study group, takes on Mike and his goons, which are breakdancers for some reason that I don't think is explained. It's messy and it's absurd, and they all end up in the study room afterwards, and it's kind of a beautiful, weird, it's great. And you see the full arc between the beginning and the end for Shirley.
I'm so sick of the dean jamming his PC-ness down my throat. Tolerant rewrite of carols to sing.
Structurally, this episode is pretty simple. The setup is religious conflict, layer in Jeff's fight subplot, and then crash it all together in a final showdown where the group shows up and shows us what unity actually looks like. And that's the perfect place to dive into the deeper meaning.
My emotions!
This is a great sitcom episode, but the deeper meaning is where comparative religion shines for me. And I think it does such a great job of storytelling about faith and identity and community. What strikes me the most about Shirley in this episode isn't just her Christianity, which is the religion that I would relate to the most. Well, a niche version of Christianity, at least.
Are you sure you're not in a cult?
Anyway, what stands out is the way that she clings to her faith, like it's the only thing holding her together. It isn't just a belief system for her, it is her identity. And as we've seen play out in a few different ways across this season, identity at Greendale is never a background noise or a background idea. It is the whole story, at least in season 1 so far. Her faith is an anchor, and this Christmas party is wrapped up in that identity like a safety blanket. So much of her life feels out of control. And when people start drawing lines that she cannot manage, her instinct is to clamp down and assert some control wherever she can. When Shirley demands, both subtly and not so subtly, that the group celebrate Christmas her way, she's not trying to control because she's trying to be cruel. It's because this holiday, this specific party on December 10th, feels like a piece of her that she can't afford to lose. So everybody has to fall in line. And the way they celebrate isn't about them at all. It's about her. And like we see in this episode, Shirley's Christian faith isn't really the problem. The issue is her need to make everyone else around her conform just so that she can feel validated. And when faith gets intermingled with control, bad things are bound to follow.
Are you sure you're not in a cult?
Because when people are rewarded for controlling behaviors like this, they keep doing it. Maybe they frame it as for your own good, but underneath that, the motives are always tangled with the validation that they get from controlling people around them, even if it's under the guise of faith. That's what makes Shirley in this episode so interesting. Her motives aren't cartoonishly evil. She's not trying to ruin Christmas. She's not even trying to force people into her version of Christmas. She's just trying to hold her life together by making sure that everyone else fits inside her lines. But I think the real commentary here in comparative religion is about how easily people can tie their identities and the validity of that identity to getting everyone else to circle up and do faith exactly the way that they think it should be done. She's not saying, this is my faith, please respect it. She's saying, this is me, and if you don't validate my faith tied to this exact Christmas party and all the baggage that's coming along with it, then you're not validating me.
Why do you hate me and Jesus?
When identity gets fused too tightly with religion, the line between belief and self-worth begins to blur. And when someone charismatic enough or silver-tongued enough can get behind the wheel and co-opt someone's faith and get control of how people behave, inclusion stops being inclusion. It becomes conformity, dressed up as community.
Are you sure you're not in a cult?
But what I love about this episode is how gently and with such stupidly simple grace, the writers tear that idea down. Nobody argues with Shirley into tolerance, and nobody stages a big dramatic intervention. They just live their lives and do what they feel is right. Annie stays Jewish, Abed stays Muslim, Britta keeps declaring that men fighting is secretly gay, and Pierce is Pierce.
That guy wasn't gay. He had a mustache.
None of them erase themselves for Shirley's comfort. It just finally clicks for her when she sees someone she cares about take a sucker punch to the gut, not for his own convictions, but for a rule that she made up to validate herself. Her big Christmas lesson shows up when Jeff gets sucker punched. The people that she loves are getting hurt, not by their lack of faith, but by the weight of hers.
Jeffrey?
Which ties to one of the clever threads running through this episode, the dean forcing his version of PC-ness around the school. He launches into this overblown speech about celebrating every holiday equally, Christmas and, all the other things. It's absurd, it's bureaucratic, but it's out of touch with what we actually get in the relationships in the study group. The joke here is the same one that we saw with Envirodale, which I don't love rehashing the same joke again, but the message still works. Political correctness, when it's just a checkbox exercise, is ridiculous. It looks ridiculous. It treats, in this case, the simple act of acknowledging differences as if it's so risky and so dangerous that the only option is to smother ourselves in bureaucracy and normalcy. But religions aren't normal. Even mine, and I would assume yours, but I don't know yours. Leave yours in the comments.
The head of a monkey with the antlers of a reindeer, with a body of...
And yet this episode doesn't settle for a cheap punchline of PC culture is dumb, so let's all just be douchebags to each other. Instead, it shows something better. Acceptance doesn't come from policy, it comes from presence. When the group bands together for Jeff's fight, they're not thinking about whether they're Muslim or Jewish or atheist or Christians. They're simply just there for each other, and that is the heart of real community. Shirley's realization mirrors something that I've had to live through since leaving a toxic version of faith myself. For so long, I thought faith was about my validation, about me being right, proving my identity through rules and rituals, controlling myself and pushing others through this same system of faith so that the system could look good, so that we could keep the machine running, keep the image clean, and then pull more people into the same trap that I was stuck in.
Are you sure you're not in a cult?
But slowly, over the course of my own journey, and honestly, while running this very channel, I've had this turnaround. I don't see faith that way anymore. Faith is super important to me, but if it means anything, it for sure means that I show up when people need me, not to get them to think the way that I think, believe what I was taught, or validate myself, but to be present in the mess. This channel isn't about my faith, by the way, so don't worry, this isn't gonna keep coming up, but I just go where the literature takes me. And all that's the reason why I think the conclusion to Comparative Religion is beautiful to me. It's not clean, it's not tied up in a bow, it's chaotic. Shirley doesn't throw away her beliefs, she brings them with her into the chaos. And in doing so, she learns that being together in the chaos is the good. Because life is chaos, conflicts happen, fights break out in parking lots for dumb reasons involving bullies and breakdancers. We don't get to choose how life plays out. We just get to choose if we stand together with one another in spite of our differences. Shirley wanted the party to validate her. She wanted the group to prove her identity back to her. But in the end, what mattered wasn't whether they all celebrated baby Jesus the same way. What mattered was that she didn't leave her people high and dry. She realized that caring for them meant loosening her grip, stepping into the mess, and maybe even kicking a little ass.
It's December 10th.
For me, that's where faith should lead, not to the fist fighting part. Genuine spirituality, at least where I land, pushes us to embrace humanity and our differences, not try to escape it, But faith is often weaponized to separate people. Instead of leading towards love, it becomes a tool of division, which makes Shirley's turn so intriguing to me. And that, to me, is this episode's deeper meaning. That people don't need to see eye to eye on everything. They don't need to erase their differences. They just need to show up for each other in the chaos, to pass finals together, even when those finals turn out to be a farce.
True or falso or none of the above? That doesn't make any sense.
To stand side by side in a fight, bruised and laughing, because community isn't about validation, it's about solidarity. The final brawl is slapstick, but it's also deeply symbolic. Jeff, for example, doesn't want to fight. It doesn't seem, at least on the surface, that he wants to fight. But the group's presence gives him the courage to stand up for himself. And when Shirley finally joins the chaos, it represents her choice to prioritize community over dogma. Their smiles at the end, bruised but bonded with the group, feels like a metaphor for what happens when you drop the walls of religious control and step into messy, authentic connection. Comparative religion could have easily been a heavy-handed morality tale about tolerance.
Assalamu alaikum.
Shamalama ding dong.
Wow.
But is it good? Yes. Yes, God, I love this episode. For me, this is a top tier episode of Community. The mix of humor, heart, and theme is exactly what makes this show special. Everyone gets a moment to shine, which has been lacking for several of the previous iterations. The ensemble in this ensemble comedy finally feels like it's clicking. The pace is sharp, the jokes land hard, maybe with a couple of misses here and there.
He's seen this.
Now I get it. It sounds like penis. That's just gotta do.
But nothing that drags the episode down. To me, it's fantastic. But that's not just me. Critics loved it too. The AV Club gave it an A, and it's often cited as one of the best episodes of season 1. All up, I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10.
I meant, yay!
And I want to take a moment to thank all the names scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Thank you for supporting me on Patreon. And if you, viewer, are interested in that same thing, links are in the description. And if not, just give this video a like and a subscribe. That stuff's free. As always, thanks for watching, and join us next week with your homework done for investigative journalism. Should be a good one.
I'm sorry.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.